So I had a team meeting a couple weeks ago, and one of the things I was talking about was I was thinking that maybe I wasn't leading the best example that I could. It wasn't anything major, but maybe I was maybe on my phone a little more than I should, and things of that nature. And basically, the conversation was around how we all need to be the example of excellence to the people around us, because no matter where you are in your life, in your job, wherever it is, that there's somebody else looking at you to see, kind of what the line is, what they're supposed to be doing, things like that. So Andy Frisella talked about this on his podcast, and he said something along the lines of, you may not think you're the shit, but somebody around you thinks that. And he asked, are you going to let those people down? And the idea is that if you're not pushing yourself to be the best you can be, you're sort of not being the example to those other people that are looking at you. And when you think about humanity over history, we've been a tribal species in general. So we do look to each other to see kind of what's the benchmark. Like, I don't know, you know how it is when you're in a peer group, like I've had some unhealthy habits in my past, and I've talked about it a lot on this podcast. So a couple of examples is, like, I used to eat like shit, but everybody in my circle ate like shit too. So it made it a lot easier to eat like shit when I saw everybody else eating like shit. And I'm sure I was contributing to that as well. Everybody's looking at me. We're all looking at each other, and we're like, oh, whatever. He's eating McDonald's. It's, whatever. Same thing with like alcohol and drugs and things like that. If people around you are doing all those things, it makes it easier for you to make those bad decisions. But on the flip side, if you're making good decisions and you're leading a healthy life and you're trying to build yourself up and be, the best you can be, there's somebody around you that's going to see that and get inspired to do the same. And so what it seems to really come down to is when you're developing yourself and you're trying to get better as yourself, it's not really just about you. And in a lot of ways, it's more about the people around you than it is you, because you're setting that example. Jordan Peterson has a great book called what was it called again? It's called The 12 Rules for Life. And he said something really good, and I'll quote it here. He said, "We deserve some respect. You deserve some respect. You are important to other people as much as to yourself. You have a vital role to play in the unfolding destiny of the world. You are therefore morally obliged to take care of yourself. You should take care of, help, and be good to yourself the same way you would take care of, help, and take care of someone you loved and valued." So when you really think about that, that's an interesting way to look at it as well. I mean, it's a lot of us maybe, well, one of the examples that he said in the book was like, he was talking about how you have to take a certain medication to get organ transplants, and it's super important that you take it. But a lot of patients, they don't end up taking it. And he was saying, on the flip side, if you have a sick dog and they prescribe medication to you, you're going to give it to your dog because you love your dog and you want to make sure your dog is okay, but you won't do the same thing for yourself. So on that sense, I think if you're having trouble making yourself better, that's another way you can try to look at it in a sense, like, you should be treating yourself in the same way you would treat somebody that you loved. So back to the original point is, no matter where you are in life, there's somebody looking at you to see what they need to be doing. Someone looking at you for inspiration. One of the best ways to inspire people is to make yourself better. They see you getting better, they're going to want to get better too. In addition, even if you're not where you want to be, that's inspiring, seeing somebody push themselves to get better. It's like the person that's really out of shape in the gym. A lot of people are, and I used to be like this. I was like really overweight. I didn't really want to go to the gym and work out with a bunch of fit people and think that everybody's looking at me like, what is this guy doing here? But that's inspiring to some people. Like, you see somebody really pushing themselves, somebody fucking getting after it and putting themselves through that. It's hard to do. There's people that are going to be inspired by seeing you try to improve yourself. one of the things I wanted to mention here too is if you listen to any of the episodes that we talk about Cub, especially the addiction episode, we saw the best 8-9 months of his life. So I didn't know him before that. So I can't really speak on how he was, but the way he talked about it is that he was very negative and, you know, he was very troubled and all these kind of things, obviously addicted to drugs. And so when I think about things like this, I think about what if we had missed that 8-9 months? What if he never made that decision to better himself? We got that. It's a small amount of time, but I think he made a lot of impact. We got all this audio of him speaking and the people that he reached out to. He was constantly sending text messages and inspiring people. He changed people's lives in the course of that several months, that few months in the course of a lifetime. And then he died. What if he never did that? Like that's the same thing for all of us. We don't know. None of us know. Like these could be the last words that I ever speak. And if I'm not trying to do the best that I can, then I feel like it's wasted, you know? I don't know who's looking at me, but if somebody is, somebody's paying attention, you know what I mean? I get messages and shit. So it's just like, it's just so fucking important. And now, honestly, if you look at the world right now, I can't imagine that I don't know. I'm not really like super familiar with history, but I feel like we're in such a space right now where this kind of leadership and people leading by example is so fucking important right now. If you think about everybody getting so triggered and offended and all of this kind of stuff that's happening around us and people being locked down and there's just all kinds of issues. I don't know. I don't even want to get into specifics, but there's just all kinds of shit going on to where we need people that are out there leading and being better and just leading by being better. You don't have to lead them in any direction, whatever it is that you believe, but it's just, we need more people that are strong. You know, at the end of the day, the world is not a safe space. Like it's never been, it's probably never going to be. Like there's no reason to not build yourself up and get mentally, physically strong, fit, able, because we never know what the fuck's going to happen. It's just a reality. There's terrible shit happening all around us all the time. And we just need to be prepared. We just need to be the best that we can be. And that kind of thing, it's exponential. Imagine, you know, if you think about how does one person change the world? It's a daunting idea. You can think about all these different things, these huge problems that are happening in the world. Starvation, there's poverty everywhere, there's human trafficking, there's fucking all kinds of terrible things that are happening. And you could think like, I'm just one person. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do to fix any of this stuff? Well, it starts with fixing yourself, because you have to have your own shit in order before you can really do anything. I mean, that's just kind of basic. Like if you start with yourself, start improving yourself, then you get the energy, you get the momentum, you build it up. And then when you think about if you actually inspire one other person, it's possible that person's going to inspire one other person. And then it's an exponential thing. You can also think, what if you inspire 10 people and each of those people inspire 10 people? It could just keep growing. So it's just a critical thing for us all to really try our best to just lead by example. And just the way that the world's going right now, I just wonder, I heard this quote, I don't know where it's from. I Googled it and I couldn't find the origin, but it says, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. So it's an old quote. So yeah, it's gender, whatever. But I don't know. I wonder if that's what's happening right now. Like we've had it too good for too long. And I don't know. It seems like we're getting kind of soft. So it seems like a good time for us all to try to get better. So that's all I can really think of. But I'll leave a couple action steps. There's one from Sean Whalen's book. He talks about improving your core 4 every day. And I've talked about that before. mind, body, relationships, and business. Do your best to try to work on those things every day. So it's the same as I always say, start small and build it up from there. You can start with, like, if you're really overweight, just start at the easiest thing you can do. Take a walk, do something simple, start just getting that thing building. For your mind, you can start just reading like 5 pages a day. All I read is 10 pages a day, and then I also will listen to audiobooks sometimes, but 10 pages a day, you can get through quite a bit of books per year that way. Set aside some time in your day for your relationships, whatever those are. If you have kids, you have a wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, schedule some time to build that relationship or build those relationships. If you have a business, obviously work harder in your business. If you work a job, work harder in your job. Every day you try to improve that core 4 things. I mean, if you're a religious person, you can put time aside for your faith. All of these things. Do that every single day, even if it's a small amount of shit every single day. As you start to see improvements, you're going to want to work harder at it. That's just how it works. So I hope that helped. I'm going to leave a little message from Cub, and I will talk to you guys next week.
Let me not skip over the fact that everybody should be shown the love and respect until they give you a reason not to, a legitimate reason not to. Besides that, like lifting up the next guy, no matter where the fuck they're from or how they do, whatever is ultimately going to be number one. Giving back and lifting up, that's always going to be the answer, I guarantee. I believe it. So what's the solution to having the mentality of like us versus them kind of mentality? And this is one example that I heard, which was instead of me versus you, it's me with you. And under me, it's versus me yesterday.
Right.
And under you, it's you versus you yesterday. So we're just in constant competition with ourselves to just improve and to be the best version of ourselves we can possibly be. And ultimately, it's another thing we've already touched on too, is like there's plenty for all of us. There's plenty of spots to get. There's plenty of fucking people to paint with. There's plenty of things for all of us as writers to do in this world. Like, why wouldn't we be just trying to improve our craft and put all of our energy into that only?
Yeah.
And look at each quote, I was going to say rivalry, but here's the other thing I heard. Rivalry is more of a cancer and of something that's going to tear you a fucking part. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not a constructive way to look at anybody. However, like competition is somebody that you look up to. Could be in your own crew. It could be across town, like we were just mentioning. Somebody that you appreciate the fire that they got. You appreciate the hard work that they put into their fucking painting, to their craft, to their getting up, their whatever they do, and you kind of use them as a sparring partner to keep you fucking motivated. So there's that whole positive side to us versus them. It's not even looking at it as us versus them. It's just us and them, us with them, and how we can, again, fucking lift each other up in that sense.
All right. Good.
Appreciate each and every one of you guys who are supporting the cause and continue to spread the love. And, yeah, stay up.